We're live.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Changing the Lost Smoky Mountain Wilds. I am William Oshani, and I am your storyteller for this Changing the Lost 2nd Edition Chronicle. And joining me today, we have Austin.
Hello, I'm Austin. I am playing Frank and Lisa, the Beastkin Pop for Frank and Polychromatic for Lisa. And if you don't understand why, then you probably should go back several episodes because you're coming in at a weird point.
We'll wait.
That's last week I shared the stream with some friends, and one dude caught like the first 30 minutes of last session as his introduction. and he was so lost.
I wonder why.
I mean, it is literally the name of the game, so I see no issues.
Yeah.
What were you expecting?
And Jeremy?
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing Jackson Montgomery or Marlena Dubois until I get betrayed and murdered. And I am playing a Ferris Changeling.
Murdered is a strong word. Negligent manslaughter? Intentionally negligent manslaughter, perhaps?
We call that murder, Austin.
Well, murder.
And Katie?
Hi, I'm Katie. I am playing Joe Arbor, who is an elemental notary. And if one of you guys gets me blown up, I am going to mourn my emotional support fictional bank account.
But what if one of the girls does?
Guy, girl, in between, both. I don't care. I live for my pretend bank account, okay?
I can check all 3 boxes.
And Dravian?
Drevian, I am playing Frisian, the Darkling Hunterheart, who's probably the one that will accidentally blow someone up.
Probably.
Or intentionally blow someone up.
That's what I'd say. I don't know how much of an accident it'll be.
Yeah, again.
It depends on who gets blown up. If it's Joe getting blown up, it's an accident.
Fair.
Thank you.
Frisian doesn't intend to blow Joe up.
As we learn, as we suddenly learn that Frisian has had a secret plan to murder Cassandra for years now. It's only an accident if Joe gets blown up.
Everybody else.
That damn teacup looked at me funny when I was standing guard. Now I gotta blow it up.
And Julia?
Hi, my name is Julia of the Zodiac System, and I am playing Cassandra Scott, the elemental polychromatic.
And, as always, Black Lives Matter, trans rights are human rights, eat the rich, Happy Wrath Month, and also Disability Awareness Month.
Which
Don't
means
fuck
if you have a
couches.
disability, we can see you this month.
Damn it.
We're no longer invisible.
Drev, you will resume invisibility at the end of the month, so will most of this call.
You've disabled my powers of invisibility. How dare you?
Now all I can imagine.
Well, only a couple more days. Then
Now
we
all I can imagine is that Sin looks at the numbers, and July is like the peak viewership month.
It's tea, though.
But, anyone in particular in the Book of Grudges today?
I mean, Elon always, Vince always, everybody who got offended at the Olympics paying tribute to the Dionysian and other Olympian gods. Yeah, them too.
My favorite meme that has come out of that is like, somebody goes like, oh, the Olympics went woke and gay. It's like, friend, can I introduce you to the Greeks?
They started gay. They started so gay.
They started naked.
Like you were saying, anyone in the list of booked for fuck you. And the first thought was, there's the one dude that's like a beach volleyball player.
Yep. I know there's something there.
For some reason, Denmark allowed a child rapist as a competitor.
Oh,
He got booed.
good.
Good.
That seems like it should be the least.
The least
Yeah.
of what happened.
The most cut it off.
All right, so when last we left off,
Everything was fine.
The group had been making plans for a detonation, shall we say? I don't remember.
It sounds like you wanted that to be like a innuendo or illusion, but it's literally just
No,
that.
That's just literally that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Look, sometimes my word choice is only moderately good.
So it's a storyteller.
That's fair. Oh, we've all been there.
But making preparations, arranging things. The group has had several days of getting ready, and I believe, if I'm recalling correctly, from the end of last session, we are picking up the day of plan. Because people have done scouting, people have gathered glamour, people have acquired. Yes. Oh, right. Yes, we pick up when the explosives arrive. So Drevian, not Drevian, Frisian. There's a knock at the door of whichever building you're staying in that morning. I'm assuming the mansion.
Probably the mansion, yeah.
You say the mansion like there's only one mansion.
The original mansion.
The mansion that Frisian stays at.
That the occupants know of.
I'm hot. I'm in the walls.
Yeah, there's a knock at the door, and you walk over to check it and see a footlocker, about yay big.
Frisian opens the door and pulls it inside. And then checks it once it's inside.
You open it up, open the lid. There are just variously wrapped in separated packages, bricks of plastic explosive.
Oh, good, this has arrived. I'm surprised they didn't just call us to tell us to pick it up. Oh well.
I walk out into the front in my robe. Look, I'm gonna go smoke elsewhere.
No, it's fine. Smoking shouldn't set these off.
I understand that. I am playing it safe.
For once.
Understandable. Frisian will lug the footlocker to his vehicle. Through the house. I'm sure that's Jackson's. That's what Jackson dreams of at night, is a box of explosives.
Just scraping across the floor.
I was to say, please tell me you were literally dragging this thing.
There's ridges in the hardwood.
No, Frisian wouldn't drag it. He's not. He wouldn't want to damage the house.
Or the explosives.
The explosives are sturdy; they can take it.
And the explosives would damage the house. By a lot.
These are stable plastic explosives. They will not go off on their own.
They need a primary explosive to set them off. Which I'm sure there's a deal of. I'm sure there's some of that in there too.
Yes, there is. There is reactant and cable for transferring chemical reaction.
It will not be an accident when they explode.
Hopefully.
There are fuses and reactants to be set aside.
Nothing tonight will be an accident.
So yeah, Frisian
I wouldn't say
looks into
nothing.
It remains to be seen if there's an accident.
Explosives to car.
Yep.
Yeah. You move the explosives to your vehicle.
And then I go find Jackson.
And you go find what?
Then I go
Jackson.
find Jackson.
Jackson, okay.
Yep. Probably dressed at this point. Hey, honey, so how's the explosives? I don't even know what to say about how to. So,
So I got them loaded into my car
all right.
and was checking, like, if we should tell the rest of the group or if I should just head there and start setting them up or.
I mean, you're the expert here. If we tell everyone, I mean, we tell them we're getting it set up, sure, but before the fact or after the fact? We say it before the fact. What does that? What would that do for us? And like, do we want them there helping? I feel like they're not trained necessarily in explosive deployment.
No. But I mean, like, if they had other plans that, like, I know you were gonna
That's
start
true.
calling
That's
in.
true. That's true. I will let them know.
Okay.
How long do you think it's going to take?
You've already spent time drilling holes, so a few hours of packing plastic explosives and setting up fuses.
Just a couple of hours. A lot of the prep work's already been done.
All right. So we'll have to be ready to implement the plan, I suppose. All right, cool. Just let me know when you're done. Let me know if you need anything.
All right.
Cool.
And Frisian will head off and drive down to the warehouse. Very slowly and very carefully.
You don't need to make a drive check. This stuff is stable. You're not going to start off by bumping something.
Oh no, it's Frisian's driving slowly and carefully
to
to not get pulled over.
Yeah, no. I get you. What I'm saying is you don't need to make a drive check. These are not unstable explosives. You're not risking anything. So you just drive slowly and carefully. You're fine.
This is not dynamite that's been weeping nitroglycerin for the last decade.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a thing that happens.
Mm-hmm.
It's great. Don't mess with if you go exploring in old mines, don't mess with sticks of dynamite.
Or don't go exploring
We
old
cut off
mines.
the first half and the last half of that and apply both of them to every situation. Don't go exploring old mines. Don't mess with dynamite.
So, when you arrive, go ahead and roll me dexterity and your engineering skill, whichever one it was.
Dexterity, science.
Yeah, roll me dexterity and science.
Dexterity, science. Spending a willpower and a bonus for my specialization. 4 successes.
Oh, yeah. It takes you a couple of hours, but you think you have fairly optimally placed your payloads throughout the area and covered them up so that they're not immediately visually obvious to anyone just with a passing glance. you've buried your fuse lines so that they're not just like visible wires running somewhere else. And you've set your contacts far enough apart that they are within arm's reach of someone sitting in one position, but not close enough that they could accidentally touch. And you have arranged your series of explosives in your place of choosing. All that is left now is to put the plan into action.
The trap is set. Now the bait needs to be deployed.
I will have shortly after Frisian left send the message to everyone. Warehouse is being prepped. Shouldn't be more than a couple hours, apparently.
Is that enough time to try to yoink some glamour?
You got a plan.
How are we doing this for everybody else on that day?
What do we need to? Yeah, Joe's gonna give a thumbs up and go, what do we need to do?
It's a good question.
And she's gonna continue because I know what Frisian's doing. I know what Frank's doing. I know what Jackson's doing. I never did understand what Cassandra and I were doing.
I'm trying to remember.
They spoke with Winter and Fall, I think.
Yeah, we
about-
did.
They kind of done their expressed position. As far as the actual setting up and detonating of explosives, you guys don't have a specific job there.
That's on the men. And sometimes men.
Frank is a man all the time. Sometimes he's just not there to be a man.
I won't go into plural semantics. Because I don't know how Frank's DID actually presents within his brain.
And Joe's gonna say, I know we talked to Winter Court and Autumn Court, but do we just need to steer clear of the explosion? Question mark.
Come watch the fireworks. Come watch the fireworks.
Alibis?
I mean, and to be clear, they are making sure that this doesn't become a national story and shit like that, right?
Yeah, the
Yes.
courts are covering up the story.
We've already talked to Autumn Court's covering that.
Cool.
Parchment is already seeding stories.
I mean, I guess I can't think.
If any of you have bothered to check your local news today, a significant number of local news sites and other news sources are putting out expose and complaint pieces about how city infrastructure has been declining over the past few years, and how, occasionally, if these pipes keep degrading any further, something's going to explode.
Godspeed.
Cassandra probably would have seen that this morning and would text. Seems like Winter's doing, or Autumn's doing the end of the bargain.
All right.
What was Winter doing again?
Winter's the one that found us where they were staying, so we can get a hold of
Oh,
them.
that's right. That's
Mhm.
right. That's right. That's right.
Oh, that's right. That's my plan to get
yeah.
him. I forgot about that plan.
You-
I'm excited about this plan again.
You were going to like cold
Hollywood
call
Squares.
a
I'm going to
corner of a
annoy
hotel.
them. Yes.
I forgot.
I'm going to annoy them until they pick up the phone. I mean, if there's anything you two think you can do to help with what we have left to do, awesome. I guess the only thing I can Jackson is texting. Only thing can think of. No, that's not true. Jackson is typing every goddamn word. It's just taking a while. The only thing I can think of is if you can do it safely, it would not hurt to have someone it would not hurt to have eyes on the hotel so we know when they're coming.
Yeah. Joe, how you feel about steak? Spelled Stake.
Joe goes, sounds like fun.
To the point where the Malkavian who's secretly, or not the Malkavian, the Nosferatu, who's been secretly spying on all of our stuff, chimes in and is like, hey! Anyway.
Speaking of steaks, Cassandra is planning on messaging Recessive to see if there's any update on the Mimir situation.
The what situation?
The Mimir situation
Mimir,
with the
Yeah.
head.
Yeah. I heard Amir, and I'm like, that's a name I don't know.
You text Recessive.
I don't expect an answer until later tonight. No,
Yeah.
no, I'm dumb. I'm not that dumb. Vampires sleep during the daytime. I got that one. You can't trick me with that.
Jokes
Unless
on
they
you.
don't.
It's like jokes on you, Recessive response anyways.
Hang on a minute. I need to make a roll here.
There were definitely a few days during Charlotte's recovery that Simone didn't sleep.
I was about to say, there are reasons that Recessive might be awake right now. I need to make a roll real quick. All right. About 10 minutes later, you get a text back. We'll be making a move tonight. We've got arrangements in place.
Please keep me updated as soon as possible.
You just worry about dealing with our other problem.
We might have that handled.
Might.
Hunting.
That's as much as she'll say.
You might be wondering why Recessive is up in the morning.
Yeah, I mean that is.
Why is Recessive up in the morning, storyteller?
Yeah. I'll bite that hook. And why are you currently up?
The text responds back. Sometimes when you need to procure enough ordnance and political favors to make sure the use of ordnance goes unnoticed, you need to make conversations in person, even if it's when you should be asleep.
I see.
All I can imagine. Like, ordnance makes me think, is like, oh, cool, Knoxville just has a shortage of explosives now.
I was gonna say, they're like, all right, we just have to get some explosives. What do you mean you're out? Who bought all your explosives?
Meanwhile, Frezzy
Yeah,
and number 2.
It was a 10 for 10 sale. What do you want?
I sure hope the Morrigan did not bargain shop for our C4.
No, I just had to be stupid.
So, any preparations to be made before the night arrives? Is anyone going for one last run for glamour?
I need to top
I
off my
am
glamour.
currently good-ish.
Joe is going to contact Cassandra saying, okay, how do you want to do the stakeout without being arrested for loitering in a parking lot?
I mean, the simplest way is we do public parking across the street and just relax and watch. As long as we can get a clear view of, you and I might not be able to sit in the same spot. We might have to see if there's got to be more than one exit, so we'll have to have eyes on both.
Mm.
So, looking at this hotel, what you understand of it, if they're taking a vehicle, there's only one exit. Because the way that the hotel sits, it's on a hill, like up the road a bit from the actual highway that it sits on. So cars have to come in and out through this one entrance off the highway, and then move up the hill towards the actual parking lot and structure where the hotel is. Which does mean that across the street is not going to get you a good view of the hotel, because there's trees and other stuff in the way because it's up a hill. But it will get you a good view of the exit, assuming they take a vehicle and don't go on foot across the city and into a different city, which would be interesting.
Yeah.
Question is, what's next to the hotel? Is it like a...
So coming down from the hotel, off like next to the hotel's like road entrance, there is a gas station, and then a series of small like individually owned businesses. There's a gun shop. There's a smoke shop next to the gun shop. there's a like a weird antique store, and a smoking paraphernalia shop, which is business slang for we sell bongs, but we'll call it smoking gear so that you don't get arrested for it.
Listen, it's fine if you put the smoke shop and the gun shop next to each other. You just can't also have the liquor store in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so most people are not going to get stoned and go, you know what I need to do? I need to get violent with my guns.
Yeah, that's why the liquor store is 3 blocks down.
Yes.
The biggest like worry of danger when someone has smoked pot is that your cookies will be gone.
They will
And that you might have to go do groceries again tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because Joe is just trying to think of, if we have 2 different cars, doing it somewhat strategically, but
And then, of course, at the end of that strip of individual small stores is obviously, as you might imagine, a sex shop.
Of course.
It's a one-stop shop for everything.
It's the only way this arrangement of buildings goes. Guns, smoking, weird knickknacks, bong paraphernalia, sex shop.
And then a Michaels.
Yeah, I mean...
Sir, it's the South. That's a Hobby Lobby.
Sorry, I was picking. I was choosing the good one.
We have Michaels too.
We do, and every Michaels looks like there was a crime committed 3 weeks ago, and that's why they haven't cleaned up since.
Still better than Hobby Lobby.
Listen.
Would you find a Hobby Lobby next, like the uber Christian craft store next to a sex shop, though?
Considering that I've seen
for strange bedfellows.
Yeah. Also, considering that I have seen a sex shop named Adam and Eve, yes.
The problem with this comes is the Hobby Lobby was there first. Everything else moved in, and they were unable to stop them.
It's either that or the sex shop is called Adam and Eve, and the people putting in the Hobby Lobby thought it was a Christian bookstore.
And
then when they realized
they're Christian bookstore,
they just realized too late that no, this is the wrong Adam and Eve.
No, listen. There's granted this is Portland, we're weird town, but the Christian bookstores all up here definitely have more neon than the sex shops.
Like, honestly, and I think I could be wrong. But at least where in the area I'm aware of, I'm aware of at least. I'm not aware of any Christian bookstores, but I am aware of a Michaels and a sex shop.
That are next to each other?
No, they're not.
Missed opportunity. Anyway,
They are not.
You have to go. First you get wood, then you go and get wood.
So stakeouts.
Look, not every pair of handcuffs comes with the fuzzy fur, so that's why you go next door to the Michaels.
And of course, on the other side of the hotel from all of this is just a big gas station that takes up the entire corner of the street.
Yeah. Anyway.
None of these are sounding promising.
Depending on the gas station, there might be a sitting area.
Yeah, I was just trying to think of something like where people are not going to notice people sticking around for a long time. Like, because if you sit like at a McDonald's, if you sit at like a McDonald's or something like that, like people are going to like, oh, okay, they're just sitting, for the free Wi-Fi or whatever. But like the smoke shop, gas station, sex shop, strip mall kind of thing, like people are going to be patrolling that area. Like.
Yeah, but they're not going to look at you weird if you're just hanging out there. They're going to assume that you're too nervous and embarrassed to go into the sex shop, so you're just hanging out in the parking lot, working up the nerve.
Especially if you take James with you.
So Joe is going to yell over her shoulder, hey, hon?
Yeah.
You want to do a stakeout?
Sure, why not? Extra
in
rare?
a sex shop parking lot?
Why not?
Best husband ever.
That made me think of the King of the Hill episode where Nancy's like, hey, Dale, you want to go steal a news van? It's the perfect crime. How would they ever report it?
So Joe is gonna text Cassandra. James and I can be in the strip mall across the way to see if they exit in a vehicle.
I can sit in the parking lot of the hotel.
Your spouse coming with you, or are they gonna watch
Ooh.
everything go boom?
I think Tia's gonna be with the fireworks show. I don't think having a very recognizable person with us when we go to do this is a very good idea, though I'm pretty not stealthy if they have any of those glasses on.
I mean, I don't really have a solution for that.
No.
Like, put on a hoodie, I guess? I don't know.
If you want to cage all of this beauty, then by all means, I will.
I don't want to cage all of this beauty. Nor should you. I'm just trying to help. Meanwhile,
Cassandra is going to ask Tyr if did you ever disclose to Madame Thorne or Nicholas Lanson that you have a spouse?
If they know anything about me, they know that I joined the Hunters because my spouse was taken. So
Good.
I have not updated them on that. So
then they won't be looking out for your dead spouse.
no, but if any of them have, if Nicholas has eaten something that has given him the gift of second sight, that might be something to watch out for.
She's going to try and shift her face, like shift her body to look like somebody who has been painted to be a painted portrait of a person.
You have very limited control over your mask.
Mhm.
You in fact, do not have any control over your mask unless you have a specific ability for it.
The only one that she has is the one where she can dazzle.
Yeah.
Well,
And your mean just kind of shifts with your emotions. You're not really a.
Yeah.
You are not a mirror flesh.
Nope. She tried.
Mirror skin, I think, is the name of the kit.
Yeah. You'll just have to deal with that as it comes.
So, two of you are doing a stakeout.
Yep.
Yep.
The three of us.
Yes, counting James. Frank, where are you going for glamour?
Is there time to stop by Dollywood?
Presumably, you got a couple hours.
It's the default.
Give me a performance roll.
All right. Just pull up this roll 20 that I actually had open real quick. And I get +2 because of the thing
Yes.
being the place.
Yes, because of the place that you are in.
Wow.
1 glamour, Bob.
Hey, it's one more glamour than I had.
Yep.
And I don't go over.
Did you only need 1 glamour?
No, I needed a little more than that, but.
Okay.
All right. And then head over to the house. I have a question.
Yes.
So I rolled, and Lisa came up.
Mm-hmm.
What sort of a role would it be for Frank to try to co-opt the body?
To try and, like, forcibly take over?
Yeah.
I would say you would have to spend a willpower and then roll. Resolve and manipulation.
Well, they have 2 different sheets, right?
No, they have
No, they have one sheet.
The only thing that changes when they shift is their kith power.
Yeah. When they get to the hedge, Frank will be there regardless. Let me roll a composure check and see if Frank can even muster the. Because Frank's a weird level of awareness. Let's see if Frank is even capable of comprehending exactly what's going on. That was 2 successes. To see if Frank can maintain a level of consciousness while not active to do that.
It's faint. I would say that Frank is at least aware that he is not the one in control right now.
Okay.
It's called co-fronting
Hmm.
or co-consciousness.
In this particular case, the way that it has been described, when one is at the front, the other one is just not even conscious, usually.
Is not supposed to be. Some chicanery happened, and there was a lot of clarity damage. And Frank behaves differently than Lisa now. Yeah. Okay. Frank will reserve that for times of emergency. Okay. So yeah, Lisa will go over to the house. By whatever means people, whether someone's buying an Uber for her or she's just going over there.
You make it over there by some means. So meanwhile, everyone else is accounted for. Jackson. And the plan goes into motion.
Yep. Once everybody, I think Jackson is just spending a relaxing few hours at home before everything goes ass up. And then when he gets a notification that we are good to go, I'm like, all right, I'm text everybody and let them know about to start calling.
Joe's just gonna text, have fun.
So yeah, I get the burner that I believe we got last session. Yep.
I mean, it's been a few days. If you hadn't, you can grab one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we start in the. Hold on just a second.
You know that they bought an entire face of one of these hotel buildings.
Yep.
And there are 2 floors. There is 1 floor of 20 rooms and a second floor of 20 rooms.
Yep. Yep, we are starting in the top floor, right, left-hand side, and we are ringing it.
It's going across, down, back across, back up, back across.
No, I think we're just gonna keep it as fun as it would be to like do designs with the order in which it goes. I feel like it would be lost on these Philistines. So we're just gonna go top, next, and yeah, just
left to right and then left to right.
Yep.
back again.
Reading style. All right.
And it's immediately the second it's
The second it goes to
let it
voicemail,
ring,
hang up, next one. Yeah.
immediately dial the next one. I feel like Jackson has probably programmed all of these numbers directly into the phone. So it is hang up, hit the next one. Wait till it hits voicemail, hang up, hit the next one.
All right.
And Jackson is a patient bitch, so he is going to sit there. If this takes 7 days, he doesn't care.
So you go through one full rotation, like
Okay.
a full set of 20 on the first level, 20 on the second level.
Yep.
When you start coming back on the top level again, you get to the 13th room
Mm-hmm.
when someone picks up. Well, if this isn't just a lovely little distraction, comes the voice over the phone.
I'm glad that you are enjoying it. I'm sorry. What are these two fuckstains?
Madam
names?
Thorne and Nicholas Lansing.
Thank you. Oh yeah, there it is. There they are. This is. May I ask who I have the pleasure of speaking with?
I ask who you think you have the pleasure of speaking with.
Well, I am going to assume I have never heard either of you before, but I am attempting to reach either Madame Thorne or Nicholas Lansing.
I think you found at least one of us.
Which one?
Madame Thorne at your service.
All right, fair enough. All right. Well, Madame Thorne, my name is Marlena, and you are. I am sure that you are very well aware of the fact that you are being a disrupting force here in this city.
Oh, I do hope so. That was rather why we came down.
I am aware of that. I would like to listen. You wanna disrupt and disable and disembowel and chow down on the vampires and the werewolves and the I don't know fucking snowmen of Nashville or Nashville Knoxville. Thank you. You go right ahead. I don't give a shit. But there is a certain segment of the population that I would like to discuss, preferably in person. You keeping your grubby little fingers off of.
Parlay. Interesting. Well, I can certainly say that you've got me intrigued, if nothing else.
I do like to be intriguing.
It's not very often that the prey comes calling to me.
There is a private place of mine. There's a warehouse. I will be there with one of my associates. You bring your associate. Do not bring anybody else. We will meet. What time is it at this point?
It's like early afternoon at this point.
Okay.
Like 2 or 3.
We will meet. Do you have anything else you're doing today?
Oh, I think I can clear some room in my schedule.
Wonderful. We will meet at, let's say, 5 p.m. I will send you the address. Do we have an agreement?
Go ahead and roll me manipulation and subterfuge just to see how well.
I'm trying to word it in a way as to fuck them into having agreed to essentially a contract, so they can't not show up, and they can't not bring like 7,000 people.
You can absolutely seal a promise.
All right. What did you say for the roll?
Manipulation and subterfuge.
All right, manipulation, subterfuge. I am going to willpower the shit out of this. Come on, don't.
Unfortunately,
fuck me.
There's a problem with this, which is that
Yeah,
you have the
Jackson's
Oathbreaker
yeah.
condition.
Jackson can't seal a contract.
You can't seal promises, and your words cannot be sealed while you are an Oathbreaker.
Does that include to people out who are not changelings? Though?
Yes, it is you
Okay.
are unable to seal and unable to be
that's
sealed
fine.
for as long as you are an Oathbreaker.
That's fine. It was just going to be a little. Look, if they bring friends, I'm okay with that.
I mean, yeah.
4 successes.
Very nice. Very well.
I was just hoping to keep the. I was more worried about them just saying, no, I don't really want to come. But if I can just talk them into coming, it's fine.
Very well. I'll admit I'm intrigued. Nicholas and I will swing by your little out-of-the-way soiree and have a little parlay, shall we?
Wonderful. I cannot wait to see you there.
And yeah, you reach out and feel as if you would attempt to seal a promise like you know you can. And that bit of your essence, the bit of the weird rejects your attempt as you realize that is still a part of your being at the moment.
Oh, ta-ta, hang up. Fuck. Oh, well, it worked. I hope so. Text everybody. Game is afoot.
Time to play football.
5 o'clock. I'm heading to the warehouse.
Yep.
Ain't got anything else to do.
So how far is the hotel from the warehouse?
It's a few hours. It's driving, it's like 30 minutes.
And you said it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon.
Yeah, at the moment.
Okay. Joe is going to go ahead and text Cassandra and say, do you just want to head on over there and just keep an eye out?
I'd like to keep an eye out in case they decide to go early. That way I can alert.
Joe gives a thumbs up, like,
You can head home though if you need to.
Joe is going to give a thumbs up and say, pack the snacks, honey. It's time for a stakeout.
All right, well, let's get moving then.
So Gatlinburg is about 17 minutes from Williamsburg.
Yeah, but I don't trust these fuckers any farther than I can throw them.
Yeah.
Agreed.
That depends on traffic as well.
Yeah. And then Knoxville is about an hour from Pigeon Forge, so an hour 20 from Gallenberg.
Yeah.
So, Julia mentioned, I'm blanking on the spouse, Tyr
Yes.
Bologna, going to watch the fireworks. Is Tyr going to the warehouse?
I think if not specifically requested not to, Bologna would probably make their way over, yeah?
Frisian, well, not knowing that Tyr's going to show up there first, Frisian, like, takes his car and parks it, like, down the road, so it's not sitting in front of the warehouse, walks back, and starts, like, setting up a little place to hide outside. Like, far enough away to not be in the blast, but close enough to, like, okay, I can see that they've gone in.
Yeah.
And when Tyr gets there, like, comments, "Hey, Tyr, so phones ring, right? Is there a way to turn that off?"
Yeah, let me show you how that works. And Tyr will show you how to put your phone on silent.
Fantastic. I don't want them getting here and getting a text from, like, your spouse or Joe, or I don't want to get a text from one of the others and just have my phone go off while we're sitting out here waiting.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea. They set their phone to silent as well.
And Frisian continues setting up a little hidey spot.
You and Tyr put together a bunker blind so that you can view where you need to set your explosives off. Go ahead and roll me dexterity and
Can I again apply my engineering and military training to this?
you can definitely apply your engineering, but I'm going to say instead of science, it'll be either crafts or stealth.
Crafts. It's the same either way. They're both 2 dots. Craft, stealth, engineering, and I'll spend another willpower on this. 2 successes.
Yeah, you got a pretty well constructed blind. Tyr is also going to make a roll to assist with that. Dexterity and stealth. I'll also spend one of their willpower. Yeah, so with a grand total of 6 successes between the two of you, you set up a pretty decent blind that should effectively stop anyone from seeing you without actively, like, stumbling into it. And then begins the waiting. So I would like the stakeouts to go ahead and roll me wits and composure.
I would like to spend a willpower on this if possible.
Sure.
I will do that as well, because why the hell not? What?
Sure.
What do I add? What's the modifier when I do that?
Plus 3.
Add 3 dice.
For from acute senses. Look at all those fives.
All right, so the meeting is at 5.
Mm-hmm.
At about 4:20, the pair of you witness the pair of them leaving. Cassandra, you being the one who was in the parking lot, see the pair of them leave the room that they have been staying in and head over to a black, unmarked luxury, like 4-door sedan vehicle.
No license plate.
No visible license plate. No heavily tinted windows. Kind of impossible to track. Kind of.
Cassandra will text as soon as they have actually gone down that hill to leave the hotel. We'll text Eagle has left nest.
Yeah. You see that conspicuously inconspicuous vehicle leave the hotel as well from your angle, Joe.
And Joe will text, can confirm Eagle is flying.
Just before we get to the actual scene, we do have it established that once they're inside, somebody is going up and locking the door behind them, right?
I believe that was the goal.
Is that Tier or
It's got to be one of you two. And I feel like Frisia needs to be able to push the button.
So it's got to be Tier.
I feel like Frisian pushing the button is fine because Frisian doesn't want to push the button while the person locking the door is still at the door.
This is true. That's why somebody needs to be there to push the button because
Now, what it's going to be, it's like while sitting there, Frisian, like, all right, I'm gonna go lock the door. If I start panicking, press the button.
Doesn't that set off the C4?
Yes, but if I'm panicking, they're trying to get out, which means the plan has gone wrong.
Well, they're probably going to try to. That's the thing. They're going to try to get out because if this works the way it's supposed to work, they come in.
They don't come out.
We're there just long enough for them to get close to us.
No, Frisian's point is that, they're trying to get out now, and like, cool, I'm fighting them 2-on-1. Blow the building up with me there too. Fuck it.
I mean, however you
with them.
However you want to get, that's your part of the plan. So if you want to communicate that to Tier.
I don't know how comfortable I am with that, but I will acknowledge that is your request.
Frisian's 100% ready to like, cool, I want them dead in this blast, even if I'm going with them for some reason.
This is, by the time we are done with this session, there will be 2 members of the Motley left.
It's going to be Cassandra and Joe.
Uh-huh.
Now we have another mansion.
I'm just saying, if
Also
these 3
that-
chuckle fucks die, we're renaming the Motley to the Phoenix Sisters, and that's it. We're done. Just the 2 of us and nobody else.
Oh.
Please, no one die.
Oh, in the meantime, Frisian would have also have asked, like, in like the hour that they're waiting. Like, how does Jackson keep finding where I'm at? And like, how did
you've got Find My Friends on your phone?
Don't.
I wonder, Can we use that for when Jackson goes into the hedge?
From what I understand, signals don't go in and out of the hedge. It's kind of an extra dimension, so not really.
So if Jackson has Find Your Friends on, when we know he's in the hedge, then we can blow up the.
That's a fair point, actually. When the signal cuts out and you can no longer find the phone.
So I need Jackson's phone before I go into the hedge.
And say it takes one bullet to blow up a phone. It don't even take a bullet.
Not that Frank knows any of this, or even knows what Find My Friends is.
So wait a second. What's Frank's plan for opening the hedge?
Frank already did the scouting to find out where
Okay,
the best he's already done that homework.
gotcha. Okay.
It's
Oh,
fine.
God.
I'm fucked. It's okay.
World of Darkness.
So, as the group of you are making your final preparations, this unmarked black sedan pulls up into the parking lot in front of the warehouse. As Lisa and Jackson are waiting inside, you hear the sound of a vehicle pulling up.
Showtime.
Panic attack.
And as
Dimming.
Tyr and Frisian observe, stepping out of the car are the two individuals that you've seen a couple of times in photos, but a still image does not quite do justice to the unique nature of these two individuals. Flowing like silk over the ground that she strides across is Madame Thorne. Her long, blood-red hair just flowing around shoulders and mid-back, dressed in what would best be described as Victorian Gothic. This sort of black frilled dress with the long, wide skirt and the frilled lace arm guards. But you can't tell from a distance, but anyone who might see her up close would be able to tell that half of her clothing is actually knives or blades of some kind. The majority of her outfit is made with so many different ways of concealing weapons within it, or just having weapons made into it. The bones of her corset are actually daggers, and so on. And emerging with her, if Madame Thorne is done up to the nines, then Nicholas Lansing is perhaps disturbingly casual. Dressed in just a white button-up shirt with sleeves rolled up to the upper arm, a pair of black casual slacks, and his like aqua blue, not aqua, his like navy blue hair, sort of short and curly, almost an Anastoli hairstyle. But draped over top of that outfit is just a bloody apron, as if he was some kind of meat butcher, which is not far off from what you understand of the man. He just, with this sense of calm coolness, opens the door and offers to allow Madame Thorne to enter first, as the pair of them disappear into the warehouse. That's where we're going to take our break. Remember, when we took our break, you take your break. So sit up, stretch your legs, do whatever you need to do, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. Please enjoy these commercial messages.
We are back.
Welcome back, everybody. Now to the part where you die.
I pressed the button.
At least wait till they get in.
They are in.
Yeah. So, Marlena
Yep.
and Lisa, you witness the pair of these two individuals as they enter into the warehouse. First comes Madame Thorne, and then trailing behind her, closing the door behind them, Nicholas Lansing.
Pleasure to meet you in person.
You must be our erstwhile caller, says Madame Thorne. Pleasure as well.
I'm the +1, says Lisa, waving happily.
Ignore her, I do. Please come in, take a seat. Let's get this talked out, shall we?
As the pair of them walk over and sit down, there is an air of menace about their very presence. They are approaching this as if they would any conversation that they would have, but there's just something about them that feels like, even more than when you were in the room with Reika Siv, like you are in danger.
Well, obviously. Even if they weren't in here, we are in a building that is rigged to atomize.
I mean, you're aware of that. That's just the thing that you're set up for.
I'm aware of them too.
Their presence itself is just danger.
Uh-huh. There's nothing in here that is not danger. Specifically to me.
All of this is danger.
Josh is just sitting in a viper's nest.
So, I think I've set up like a card table.
Mm-hmm.
Until they sit down.
Nicholas pulls a chair out for Madame Thorne, who takes it, sits down. He pushes her back in and takes his own seat.
Can I get you anything?
Oh, if there's a glass of something flavorful, that'd be wonderful.
I think we can accommodate that. I'm just stalling until fucking praying that Lisa decides to do what Lisa's gonna do. We don't have to have this conversation. We just need to get out of here so it can blow up.
So they're sitting firmly in the middle of the building, right? Think of some snozberry juice.
I'm going to ask you a question, Jeremy.
Uh-huh.
Are you doing anything supernatural?
Am I? Oh, thank you. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to take a certain level of precautions. This is not going to be harmful to any of us. And yes, I'm going to spend 3 glamour and 1 willpower to activate the royal court.
So, the royal court activates. I believe there's a roll involved.
No. If anyone present is under a... So here's the exact wording of it. Setting himself up as the leader during a meeting, a changeling can prevent violence from breaking out. No matter how rowdy or hostile negotiations can get, even if that assassin came here fully intending on killing him, none of the people gathered can inflict bodily harm on another. If anyone present is under a supernatural coercion to commit violence, not supernatural and commit violence, but a supernatural coercion to commit violence.
Yes.
The changeling and the force of behind the coercion engage in a clash of wills. Does not stop violence if it's already started. I literally just spend 3 glamour, and 1 willpower. And I'm not going to sit here to try to talk for 5 minutes so I can avoid paying that cost.
And you also have
that's the
you also
loophole.
have the fairest benefit as well, which prevents any kind of social
Correct.
violence as well.
Correct.
I would like you to roll me wits and weird real quick.
Okay. Manipulation out of the. God damn it. Wits. Weird. 2.
The instant the weird leaves your grasp and you feel it spread over this meeting, you come to a realization. The effect of this contract prevents 2 parties who are interacting from causing any harm to one another.
Mm-hmm. We already talked about how this is counteracted. Our person who's causing the harm is outside of this situation.
And Jackson is not part of a motley with that person.
You are still parties in this encounter. There is you come to the realization. You talked about this amongst each other. You are 2 groups meeting. The assassin is still in one group. He is, in this particular case, Frisian is the assassin. What you come to realize is this meeting will have to end before that bomb can go off.
Can I assume that I understand how my contract works? Because if so, I just won't engage it.
So,
because this is like this is the
Yeah.
second time I've had to had
so
to try and use this and have it.
it's a very complicated contract to work with. The scenario, and I will let you choose to or not to enact it. The scenario is this: should you opt to go for it, the meeting will have to end before the bomb goes off. If you choose not to go for it, these are very fast and dangerous people who might be able to prevent you from trying to escape.
I would point out that you leaving through the hedge would be the end of the meeting.
Getting out through the hedge door and the hedge door closing behind you would be an end to the meeting.
Which that's kind of the trigger for the bomb going off.
But the caveat exists there for you to consider whether you use that contract or not.
All right.
It's just a matter of whether the hindrance is worth the benefit.
All right. So, just to clarify, if we have this active and then Lisa pulls us out, the meeting is over. And we can do as normal.
Yes. Once you are, so basically, the effect prevents both parties that are present in a meeting from harming each other for the duration of the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Once the meeting ends, so does the effect.
Mm-hmm.
If we leave.
Taking your leave would be an end to the meeting. However, Frisian is still part of your party, even if he is hidden and out of the way.
I understand I have strong disagreements, but I go with your ruling. Because it does say present, and he's not present in the meeting itself. But Fair.
I would argue that
No.
an assassin hiding behind the door is still technically present, even if he's not in the meeting.
No, I'm still gonna do it then because we can just fucking leave. It's still the same.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that you were clear of what
Yes.
the restrictions were going to be.
If something prevents you from leaving, it will also prevent the bomb.
Yeah,
from being
if you are unable to leave, the bomb will
Mhm.
not be able to go off.
Oh no! Detonate the bomb anyways. If there's some way, if you can travel far enough away to where you can detonate the bomb, do it. If we can't leave, I don't care.
Yeah, it's like if you are unable to end this
Yeah.
meeting for any reason, the bomb cannot go off. But you do have a plan that should result in you ending the meeting.
Right. Fair enough.
Good.
All right. Yes. So Lisa will declaim. I think there is some snozberry juice, and rush over to the door that will lead into the land. Is
Yeah.
Jackson accompanying?
Jackson's like, don't mind her. She is an idiot. I will give me just 1 second.
Open the door, and by open the door, I mean open the door
All right. So spend the glamour, and you open a door into the hedge.
and like as I'm walking through the door. To be clear, like I am stepping through the door as the door is open.
The thing that yeah, you step through the door as it opens.
I'm going to spend a willpower so I can not hesitate from going through the door.
Indeed, you start going
Because there is no otherwise, yeah.
We'll say it is Lisa. Lisa will grab you and pull you through the door.
That
Lisa does
could
not want you to be left here.
count as violence. Because you're dragging me somewhere that I might not want to
To
go.
be fair,
It is 100% in your best interest.
A, it's 100%.
That doesn't mean
B, it is one party committing violence on their own party, not against the other party.
I mean,
either way, I'm saying the willpower, so it's fine.
Yeah. Fortunately, the other caveat to that I would have said, there is no way for Frank to leave Marlena there for the bomb to go off. Because if Marlena stayed in that room and Frank left her behind,
yeah.
the effect stays on.
Correct. To be clear, it's not one party cannot harm the other. It specifically says none of the people gathered can inflict bodily harm on another.
On another, you are correct, yes.
So yeah, it wouldn't matter. If Frank suddenly wanted to shoot me in that moment, he couldn't.
Only wanted to shoot you. That's a constant.
Well, yes.
So now
yes.
I'm going to ask for a roll from Frank, and this is going to be contested with the other two, because as you are just sort of dropping all pretense and just going to leave, they're going to try and follow you through that door. So I need you to be able to shut the door to the hedge before they come through.
Sounds like a fun time.
I'm going to need you to roll me dexterity and roll me wits and dexterity. This is basically an initiative roll.
I thought initiative was wits composure.
We're slightly altering it because it is.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Okay.
Wits and dexterity.
We're spending the willpower. That's 4 success.
All right. So I'm going to roll publicly for Madame Thorne's opposing wits and dex. He only gets 2. And then I'm going to roll a separate roll. This is going to be the wits and composure, the perception roll of Nicholas Lansing to realize something. Perfectly matches. So as the pair of you step out and begin to shut the door to the hedge behind you, as Madame Thorne realizes what's going on and begins to jump up from her seat to try and chase you through the door, the last thing you see is Nicholas Lansing catching her by the shoulders and falling forward to shield her with his own body as you shut the door. Outside, Frisian.
Well, the good news is you don't have to worry about find my phone because you're gonna feel something drop off of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. You feel the effect that is hindering you from pressing this button fade.
Like,
That means one of two things, and in either case, it's push the button.
yeah.
I call my favorite thing.
Oh, damn it!
You press the button. I need you to roll me 30 d10. Just make a simple roll of 30 dice. Like, just on your character sheet, set it to simple roll and
Oh, there
make
is
the
that
dice
option,
number
isn't there?
30.
Simple roll. 30. And I'd like to argue, because of planning, we would have known where the meeting, like, specifically where Jackson was planning on having them sit. There's explosives right underneath of them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
There's 11 successes on 30 dice. I'm just going to make a public roll. I'm not going to tell you what it's for, but you're going to see how many dice there are and how much success there is. Cool. The building doesn't so much explode as evaporate. As there is a blinding flash of light and burst of sound and deafening sound. As you, from just far enough away to be outside the blast radius, not quite far enough away to not have to look away and cover your ears.
Oh yeah, no, Frisian's like hunched over, looking to the side. If Tier's smart enough to follow suit, it's a different question.
Yeah, no, Tier absolutely is aware that's what's about to happen. The pressure wave almost knocks over your blind. Fortunately, you built it sturdy. Several trees nearby are pushed over, or their foliage is blown off in the heat and vapor of the explosive wave. Debris scatters everywhere. Bits of the house go flying in all directions, including straight up. As explosives are positioned all around and inside the building, there are competing blast waves working in opposing forces. There are multiple blasts pushing the house in on itself and several pushing outwards inside. The building itself is demolished in an instant. The rubble that is left behind is impressive and smoking. And while there is little doubt that in your mind, these two did not survive that blast. Hell, the car that was outside the building did not survive that blast.
Make no assumptions.
No,
Yeah.
no.
So Frank
Meanwhile,
has counted to 10 and then reopened.
so you opened that same door in the hedge. Because the door that you went through is no longer there, it corresponds to a different nearby location.
Yes.
As you reopen that door to the hedge, and a nearby sort of faintly arched knotwork of trees suddenly becomes a hedge gate.
My immediate thought was like, it opens up somewhere nearby. It's actually just two trees that were blown over in the blast, like arching against each other.
Yeah, actually, that's probably accurate. Thinking on the situation, a pair of trees that have sort of crossed over each other in the fall. That aren't fully knocked over, so they're still door shaped.
For the whole 10 count, Jackson is just barely motionless. Or barely motionless. You know what I mean.
So open the gate, step out. I need to see who steps out. Because I'm doing this very quickly. Lisa steps out and does not close the door.
Okay. I am racing my ass out the door.
You dive your way back out of the gate.
Go and check on the rubble.
And you look over, there is a smoldering, probably too hot to stand in pile of rubble.
Lisa's seen some weird stuff. She's going to go over.
I mean, legitimately, as you go over the superheated like bits of house that you approach, you can approach the edge of it, but like if you sort of like if you try to walk into the rubble, you're gonna start burning yourself. Like at the very least, like the inside is starting to cool a bit, but the stuff on the outside, which caught the majority of the blast because most of the explosives were on the outside, is so hot you are sweating just being near it.
Cool.
I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. I don't like this.
Pull out my gun.
Okay,
I'm going to put a spray of bullets where they last were.
roughly. It's hard to say where they last were amidst all of this.
I'm going to put a spray of bullets. And just put a spray of bullets.
Yeah, you across the area where you think they might have been. Roll me for giggles, intelligence and firearms just to see where you place shots.
Like this out.
I don't have a lot of intelligence. That's a success, though.
A success, yeah. You spread it roughly around that area. No response.
I'm going to start looking for tracks.
You look around. Roll me wits and composure. Or wits and survival.
I feel like with all... I'm going to spend a willpower. I feel like with all the charring and everything, tracks out of here would be fairly easy to find. Wits, survival, and a willpower. That
I
is
just
3
take a
success.
seat somewhere and I'm gonna and just sit down and wait.
I thought you were going to say sit down and do some breathing exercises to calm the panic of going into the hedge.
You
I mean, that's assumed.
with 3 successes, you look around, no sign of any tracks. If they had, to be fair, if they had escaped before the blast, there wouldn't be tracks. They wouldn't have blown away. If they had escaped after the blast, you would definitely see the tracks.
Don't like this.
Any sign of a body?
Not that you can see, though. To be fair, it's piles of rubble.
I pull out my phone. Call Frisian.
Frisian, your phone is on silent. Question: would you have rather it be on silent or vibrate?
On silent. Although it is like on his lap right now.
Yeah, so if you're looking down, which you would be from the explosion,
Yeah.
sort of like waiting for everything to clear out. You look down, your phone begins to light up.
I pick it up.
Hey, sweetie, can you do me a favor? And they arrived in a vehicle, right?
Yeah.
Go check that vehicle.
I make my way over.
What's
And I
left
probably
of it.
also, yeah, probably also have Tier come along and like,
Yeah,
hey,
Tyr
Tyr,
comes with you.
make sure you're ready if they actually manage to survive that somehow. Assume nothing.
Oh, I'm waiting for him.
And Frisian on his way over eats a piece of fur and activates his claws. And checks out the vehicle. The remains of it. Am I looking for something in particular, Jackson?
Anything that might have survived in it that we might need. Any indication that they might have had a contingency, just anything really.
All right. And Frisian investigates the vehicle for see what actually survived the blast and
Not a lot. I'm going to be honest with you. The vehicle was parked pretty close to the building. It's in several chunks. The cabin kind of flew off in one direction, and as you find it, looks like there were some weapons in there, which the interior is kind of extra damaged because a lot of ammunition cooked off inside the car. But while you guys are sort of inspecting this site, in the distance, you hear another explosion. And then another one. And then a third one.
those weren't me.
I believe you. Anybody want to get on the? I'm going to send text to everybody, so somebody maybe figure out exactly what those were.
Joe is going to text back.
And yeah, so the two of you that are at the stakeout, you heard all 4 of those explosions.
Why the hell were there 4 different explosions?
I don't know. That's why I said, can somebody try and figure out what those were?
Yeah,
I don't like the sound of that.
if I had to take a guess, it's autumn.
Autumn had Summer Court blow up 3 more places.
And Cassandra will start like rapidly checking news sources to see if anybody's like, I know they just happened, but
Twitter.
yeah.
So you start sort of scanning through social media. News sources are already covering this thing, and in like the next 5 minutes, news sources are already covering this. the vast majority, news sources are saying multiple gas line bursts across the city in an unfortunately timed punctuation to earlier reported stories about potential about potential pipe faultiness in the nearby region. But as you look at through like individual social media posts about what's going on, while the vast majority of media is talking about these being pipe bursts, there's like a handful, like a few dozen every now and then posts of like someone being, motherfucker, that's no pipe burst. That was a fucking RPG.
Okay.
The vampires and their ordinance.
Wonder if Rekasiv made her move.
Could be.
It is in the evening in the middle of November. It could already be sundown for all we know at 5:30 at this point.
It would be.
The sun's been down for a bit. Yeah.
Joe is just going to look over at James and go, I've got a bad feeling about this.
I'm gonna get back to our place. Tia, do you have a police scanner?
Yeah, I can tap into police frequencies.
See if you can get any of the talk on the report. See if there's any see if any of our cop friends are chattering about things that shouldn't be gas leaks. See if they're making a connection of any kind outside of just the normal.
About this time, I go, Freezing Lisa, would you, well, no, Freezing, you're it's a good, you're watching things here, right? You're watching things here, right? Yeah. Perfect. I will be right back. You will appreciate this. I'm going to my car. I am going into the backseat. I am pulling out tinfoil and various things that you might buy at a grocery store. And I'm coming back because we are waiting until we can determine whether there are people, there are living people under there or not. And we got nothing else to do in the meantime. So we're making campfire s'mores.
Campfire s'mores on the rubble of your own building.
Uh-huh.
Beautiful.
Listen, if you're gonna commit arson, you should
The
at least
world's
have
most
fun doing it.
unmatched aesthetic.
Oh my god.
Tinfoil, graham crackers, the marshmallows, chocolate, the whole bit.
So you said tinfoil. I'm like, you're gonna make hats?
That was
No,
where my
'cause
brain went first.
You wrap it in the
I know what it
tinfoil, and that cooks it internally. And yeah,
Yeah, I know what it is. I'm just like, you said tinfoil. I'm like, tinfoil hats.
They'll never find us now.
Joe is just like, so Joe texts in the group chat. So we heard the explosions, plural. Are they gone, or is this just the calm before the storm?
You get a response. Jackson brought marshmallows.
I couldn't understand anything.
yeah.
You get a
Jackson got
response.
marshmallows,
Jackson brought
very loud and
marshmallows
excited.
in all caps.
Immediately after, there's a ... of my name. We are waiting here to find out, and we've got nothing else to do. So I'm keeping Lisa entertained.
Notably, Frizzing's
very-
put his phone in his pocket and has no idea this text conversation is happening, and is stalking around the outside of the explosion.
See, this is what I figured was going to happen. Frisian is going to be the typical person who puts their phone on silent for the
And then
first
forgets
time
it's
and then
on.
forgets they have a phone. That phone is never going off silent because we'll never remember to turn it off that.
I mean, Tier knows is on silent.
But Tier's already turned their phone off silent and assumed that you would do the same. But forgot that you are a first-time phone user.
You cannot expect a World War II veteran to automatically know how to turn off and on silent.
Also, it's
Because
not,
that has never happened in the history of time.
Joe,
it's also not a priority at the moment. His priority is making sure people are dead.
Joe is gonna look over at James and go, should we check on them?
I mean,
You get a picture of s'mores.
they seem to have things in hand. S'mores being made.
I've got to.
I'm kind of worried about what those other explosions were.
You think you're gonna think I'm crazy. I have a.
Oh no, I feel you.
This isn't settled.
This went too smoothly.
This isn't set. This. Something's not right. Something's not settled, and this car is too small. She's gonna get out and start like pacing around, back and forth by the side of the car.
In front of the sex shop.
So, Cassandra, as you and Tyr head back to your place, and Tyr checks the police scanners, what you're getting out of police reports is that a number of like beat cops on the street are reporting reactions to the explosions and people reporting explosions. And every time they do, they get word from on high, from higher up in the chain, that they are gas leak explosions. Emergency services are already on the way.
So after she starts hearing the repeated orders from on high, she's just gonna give a very knowing smile to Bologna and sit back in her chair. I think Autumn and Winter have done amazing jobs today.
I don't think that's you guys.
Rikus have mentioned pulling like the politicking.
It very well could be Rekasiv.
I don't know how comfortable I feel about that.
And she's going to text Rekasiv. Y'all know anything about the fireworks display that happened earlier tonight?
You get back. I mean, I don't recognize that first one, but let's just say there's nothing like overdoing a job.
There is no kill like overkill. Okay. How was acquisition successful?
There's some scraps to clean up first, but yes, we should have our target in hand shortly.
Good. I'll shake your hand when we stop the apocalypse together.
We got a thumbs
Chill.
up emoji.
She'll just toss her phone down on the table. So they didn't get back up and walk away after the explosion?
So yeah, you guys sit down and cook out
Yep.
s'mores for a bit. Wait for the bricks to cool. Eventually they cool down enough that you can approach them.
I go to the car, I get my axe.
Your emotional support axe, since you're not
My
strong enough to
emotional
use it?
support axe, exactly. But while I'm not strong enough to use it as a weapon, I'm pretty sure I am still able, if need be, to use it to clear
As an
shit
axe.
out.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not super great, but
No.
well enough.
The great thing about an axe is it is designed to where, as long as you are able to apply the force in the
Correct.
direction it needs to go, you can do the thing.
Yep.
So
Let's clear this shit out.
You start picking through rubble. And eventually, yes, you do find a blackened and charred mass that appears to be what is left of the...
I am going through to make sure that there are 2 sets of bones there.
If Frisian's tearing
it's
them
not
to bits.
bone yet. It's just like black,
Gigantic slab of blackened meat.
kind of, yeah.
Like Frisian's going through, it's like, here, this looks like a chunk of, like, an end of a limb.
Yeah.
Like, claws digging in, tearing off 1 limb.
Yeah.
2 limbs.
There is absolutely
3 limbs.
like no level of like even like distaste of this. This is just going in, getting answering, and not stopping until we at least moderately certain that they're both there.
All right, I'm going to call this a breaking point for those of you who are...
I was about to say.
Fine.
Okay, so what does that mean?
So I'm going to need everyone involved in sifting through for bodies.
To be fair, Lisa doesn't have to sift through bodies.
Yeah, Lisa doesn't have to be involved if she doesn't want to, but for the rest of you that are.
Lisa the go-getter.
All right. When Frank gets pissy, Jackson be like, "Wasn't my fault. I didn't tell her to do it."
Like Frank will believe you.
Lisa's just having like her best night ever.
Fireworks and
Jackson
s'mores.
somewhere. There was an explosion. There's s'mores. It's a great day.
There's a treasure hunt.
How do we roll breaking point again?
I'm going to tell you a number of dice.
Excellent.
17.
That is more than 2.
That's definitely a number.
With the... I mean, it is premeditated killing of a human that all of you are at. And are witnessed.
I would argue that affects Frisian less than the others from...
Oh no,
Frisian
like
having
with
done
Frisian,
this to-
this is your job. Like
Yeah.
you've already suffered the trauma. It's not the killing that sets off the breaking point for you. It is the sifting for the body. And
charred bodies.
and the trying to piece apart what is left. The smell of burnt flesh. That's particularly
Human.
problematic for you.
Oh, like... What was the deal of
That's
Jackson spending a
activating
willpower to...
PTSD.
Of spending a willpower to put off the effect?
Oh, of PTSD, yes.
Yeah. Like Frisian will break down once the job is done.
Yeah. But I need all of you involved in digging through bodies to roll me an 8 die total breaking point with modifiers involved.
So, just for clarification, is that everyone in the motley or just the people breaking apart the corpse currently?
Just the people digging through the corpse.
Okay.
So you and I are not part of that.
No, I mean, we were involved in the premeditated murder.
We were, but we're not chopping up corpses.
Sure.
And the two of you have not really come face to face with the reality of that murder yet.
If I remember correctly, I believe this is where my inability to roll successes actually serves me well.
Yeah, actually.
1 success on 8.
2 success.
5 successes.
That
It's okay, Frisian. We're gonna get you therapy, honey.
that could not have played out any more true to character.
You're not wrong.
Like,
It's well established.
Jackson don't give a fuck.
It's well established that Frisian doesn't do burning people well.
Yes.
and rightly so.
I need all three of you to roll your weird values.
Yep.
Just our weird.
Your weird plus. +2.
And again, we don't want to get successes.
Want to get no successes.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Weird +2, Jeremy.
Isn't that +2?
I rolled 2 dice.
Oh, I rolled a simple roll. That's what screwed me up. Because I rolled a simple roll for the anyway.
Yeah.
Okay, 1. I can deal with 1.
Can you?
So both Marlena and Lisa suffer a point of normal clarity damage.
I'll add it to the pile.
Can Frank try to take over? And Frank is going to try to take over and use his own ability on themselves.
Deal with that in a second. Frisian, while you don't suffer any clarity damage, this is absolutely triggering your PTSD. I'm assuming you're spending a willpower to stay functional for the scene.
Yes. He will get through the bodies. As soon as he confirms that there is more than one person set of parts here, then he will, like, once the job is done, then he's breaking down.
Yeah, legit.
So what you find in this pile of charred flesh is that Nicholas Lansing is definitely the majority of the burnt matter that you are encountering. Underneath is a more preserved from the blast Madame Thorne, because Nicholas used himself as a shield. Nicholas is a pile of slag. Madame Thorne is there is no pulse. Madame Thorne is, as far as you can tell, dead.
Fire if I had more shots into the head and the chest.
About to be a lot more dead as I raise the axe high above my head.
Yes.
This head is not staying with this body. Neither are any of these other appendages.
Is mutilating a corpse on our bingo card of breaking points?
Yes, in fact, it is.
Awesome.
Like the further you push this, the more it is a threat to your sanity.
Yes,
yes.
I understand that.
Cool.
If Frisian's also helping mutilate the body.
No,
Jack's like, this was mine.
It is not. Well, no, it is not. I feel like it is not difficult to tell that Frisian is going through shit at the moment. No matter how much he's holding back, and just knowing the situation, the previous situation. Once we've determined the bodies, Jackson is Frisian. Go.
See, I just picture like Jackson
Well,
going, home's that way. Start running.
While that's happening, and Drevian is figuring out Frisian's response for Frank and Lisa, Lisa, go ahead or Frank, go ahead and roll me resolve and composure, or resolve and manipulation rather. To spend a willpower and roll resolve and manipulation to try and take over.
One success.
Because you're actively asserting this rather than just resisting a change, you are able to shift over.
Okay.
I am very excited for go as I get pulled through a door.
There's no doors in the immediate vicinity.
What
They've all
happens if I
been marked
try
with
to
rays.
use this ability on myself?
That kind of door.
I need you to roll weird plus roll weird and composure.
There's at least somewhat of a possibility that the amount of like digging through the remnants of Nicholas, that we've made a door-like structure there.
A door of Nicholas's limbs.
Cool. One
Tell me
success.
forward into it.
So I got a success.
Okay. You attempt to use your Lethapomp ability on your other half, who is also yourself.
Who is various levels of here and or not here, and Frank is not in the right mindset to realize that while Frank's been forcibly made aware that Lisa is the same person, he is not subconsciously aware and does not understand what he is doing.
So you attempt to wield this power on yourself. And it begins to create a feedback loop as you try and take this person's panic. And you receive that panic. But there's more panic, so you take the panic. And you receive that panic. And there's more panic, so you take the panic. And you receive that panic. I need you to roll a 7-die breaking point. While Jackson, for escalating the amount of gruesome butchery that you are doing, I need you to roll a 10-die breaking.
It's what. Okay.
It's what he would have wanted.
Only 2 successes.
Roll your weird, Frank.
+2.
Not +2. This is from a separate source.
Okay.
Okay, you don't suffer any clarity damage, but you are currently kind of frozen in place for a second while you try and sort out your own feedback. Marlena, roll your weird +2.
Two.
You take 2 more levels of normal clarity damage. You do not roll an exceptional success.
Okay. Again, add it to the fucking pile.
The mutilation of bodies that have no longer been useful, that are no longer needed. I've accidentally used this up. I no longer need this flesh. Please kindly dismember and dispose of it. As you raise the axe, you are no longer standing in a pile of rubble. You are standing in a lavishly appointed foyer that is scaled about 2.5 times too large for any normal human. As a task that is somewhat similar to this begins to superimpose over yourself, as you recall the time that your previous master had asked you to do something very similar when he had used up one of his toys.
Okay.
Do you continue to do it?
Yes.
All right. At the cost of some of your grasp of reality, you dismember and fully detach the limbs of Madame Thorne.
Am I witnessing this or am I aware?
You are focused entirely on your internal map.
Okay.
You are currently you are stuck in a loop.
I do have a question.
Yes.
What happens if your clarity boxes all have ticks in them? I only have one clarity left.
You are no longer grounded to reality.
Yeah, so 1 second. If a changeling takes if a changeling takes any more mild clarity damage after her track fills with damage of any kind, she falls unconscious, lost in her own dreams. She takes the comatose condition and can't take any more clarity damage until she heals at least 1 point. If she takes severe damage after her track is filled with damage instead, she not only takes the comatose condition, but risks death. The comatose condition becomes persistent and can only be resolved with the help of her friends, as noted in the condition's text.
So there's
Can regain clarity by spending time with her touchstones and by resolving the damage conditions below, or just resolving the damage conditions that caused it.
Okay.
Even if you have no touchstones currently attached, each scene you spend interacting in a meaningful way with one of your touchstones heals 1 level of severe or all levels of mild.
Okay. So the fact that I'm at max doesn't mean anything.
No, it's if you take more. If you're at your max and you take another hit, you fall unconscious.
Awesome. Just checking.
As this gruesome scene plays out.
So Jackson continues mutilating the body. Frisian's
But,
walking.
we're still back at go.
Yeah.
We're not getting past that.
Frisian steps behind Jackson, but he doesn't depart the scene yet. Like he's still standing in the rubble, like just out of swing range of the axe.
Yeah, he just sort of back off a bit, but stay nearby.
Jackson turns and faces Frisian head on. Florian DeVry, you get your ass out of here now. You do not need to be here. I do not want you here in this particular moment. You take care of yourself.
Frisian will leave the rubble. Starts walking down the road.
Joe is going to text and said, anybody, anywhere, what's going on?
Bodies handled. This is I'm actually just going to text probably the 2 of you who are away. Bodies handled. Come pick up Frisian. He is walking away from the site.
Joe will text, James and I are on the way.
Thank you.
Pair of you move out to retrieve Frisian.
I want to
As
roll for this.
Jackson sets in with the axe.
Yep. And the plan is he has tinfoil. So each of the limbs is being wrapped up separately. And they are eventually going to be deposited far away from each other. Because I don't know what this bitch is capable of. But me and Lisa did both see him go to protect her, and he is not trusting anything right now. If he has some sort of regeneration ability or some shit. So yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah. You have just finished separating limbs and parceling them away, almost in a methodical manner, as if this was just a task that you perform on the regular.
Yep.
As part of maintenance for someone who you are in service to.
I mean, I have done it surprisingly more than one. I've done it a surprisingly often number of times since we've gotten back.
There's this. For a moment, you wonder if you've ever actually escaped, or if there's
Yeah.
another lens over top of the same work that you've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
But you've parceled them up and put them away by the time that Frank is able to separate himself from his own feedback, as you manage to tear yourself away from this attempt to drain panic. You are still feeling that panic. Your heart rate is accelerated. You basically had to be like, this is not working. Cancel, abort.
Control Alt Delete.
So,
You doing all right?
what do I see in front of me at this time?
A pile of rubble that is slowly cooling.
5
and-
individually wrapped packages.
which are probably all
Tinfoil.
which are probably all stacked in a bag.
Yep.
So maybe not even all of the tinfoil packages, probably just the bag they're in.
I look at the bag, and I will look and assume, make assumptions. I've got a place for that.
I was thinking you might have a place for a piece of that. I'm thinking the head. No, the torso. I don't want the off chance that the head can reanimate itself because it's in the hedge.
Has there been a doorway of rubble made in the floor here?
Not in the floor, but you can find a door-shaped thing nearby.
All right. Bring your bag.
Yep.
Open the gate.
Yep.
So here's the question. Does Marlena get anywhere near that door this time, knowing that you don't have to? You can just hand a part to Frank and let him take it.
But rationally in my head, the obvious answer is no.
Neither of us are rational beings at this second.
Like,
But at the same time, there's a bit of panic in both of you right now. So
Yeah.
defensive reactions might still be a thing that you follow.
Oh yeah, no.
I imagine Jackson would be extra squirrely and wouldn't want to get anywhere near it.
On the flip side, he did just embrace it.
Because here's the mindset of how I'm thinking about this. Jackson is a couple of things. One, exhausted. 2, traumatized. 3, doesn't think is questioning whether he ever got out. And if he never got out, what's the big deal about going in? What would you even suggest for a role for this? Like,
Wits and weird.
wits and weird? Okay.
Jackson's making that roll. I want to make a roll. Frisian has to hold his shit together for about 20 minutes. And I'm thinking wits and composure, if he gets his exceptional success, he can manage that.
Yeah, we'll say that you can get about 4 minutes per success. If you can manage 5, you make the full 20.
So are there any that's not but 12's not bad.
That is 8 minutes of Frisian booking it through the woods.
12 minutes, but yeah.
No, he holds out for 12 minutes.
Yeah,
He
holds
has
out for
8
12.
minutes of running.
Yeah, 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Find your iPhone is still on.
Joe and James can get there fast, okay?
Have any modifiers? Or am I just rolling it straight?
How much clarity damage have you taken right now?
I have 3 minor, 1 severe that has been there since I killed my fetch, and 2 boxes unchecked.
I'm gonna put you at a -1.
Okay. So, I just realized I don't know what that means. I'm going to say.
I will say you are beginning to
He's not
realize
gonna
what
screw it up.
reality is.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to walk up to Frank and reach in to grab the torso and hand it over.
All right, Frank's turn. Does Frank do Frank things? I'm not sure what role that is either.
I'm going to say for Frank. So I'm going to ask you this question. Would you like to make a roll where more successes means you don't try and murder someone that you know, or where more successes means that you do try and murder someone?
I feel like more successes means I don't try to murder someone that I know, because it is the last vestigement of like Frank's humanity trying to exist.
All right. Then I'm going to have you roll. What's your clarity damage? You're at full.
I'm maxed at 7.
I'm going to have you roll resolve and composure -2.
So 1 success.
Make of that what you will.
Yeah. Now you have to interpret.
1 success indicates that voice in your head is telling you don't do this. The voice of your humanity is telling you that is a cruel and inhumane thing to do to someone, and that no one deserves that. Whether you listen to that voice.
Yeah. We've done this together so far, says Frank, stepping into the portal first as an act of good faith. Let's finish it. Oh, says Frank, I know a much better place.
Where?
There's a particular place in the park, a copse of trees. Let me get my car, and he will get his car and drive it out.
As you drive a vehicle out of the hedge gate, yeah. An old Ford Model T.
That's right. That is apparently a thing that you got. I cannot describe how much I hate that, but yeah, fine. This would be an olive branch, I suppose.
I will drive him to the park and take him to that weird circle of trees.
You do that. We're going to go over a little bit because this is Austin's last session here. So
no, legit.
Oh, go for it.
The pair of you make your way to that to that door in the hedge that you are familiar with, and you open it. and inside there is that circular copse of trees. That seem to resonate in the air.
Ah,
around.
damn it.
Frank will step inside first, as before.
I'm gonna do a resolve composure for this.
He will say as you're hesitating, Lisa's in here too.
Fine. 3 successes, sure. Takes a deep breath, steps through.
All right. Once you step through, I'll close the portal. I can reopen it. We just want to make sure that nothing goes wrong. Well, seems like a suitable place.
Jackson's just looking around expecting something to jump out at any moment.
You take the torso.
Let's just get this torso and get it the fuck handled.
Frank, you take the torso. What are you doing with it?
I'm laying it out in the middle of this copse.
Beating Jackson's head in with it.
You lay it out in the center of the copse. It is a dismembered torso, singed on the edges. And you sort of lay it there. Immediately the head sort of depresses a bit as it sort of takes it in for a second. And it sort of halfway embeds itself into the ground.
I do not like that.
The arms.
Oh no, we are keeping these in separate spots. I just want one pot in here so that the rest of the pots can't find them, and the torso is going to be the most inconvenient. I don't care if a bunch of reanimated arms and legs wander around in some sort of fucking Sam Raimi-esque kind of bullshit. We'll leave it all in here. There's a chance that she can reassemble in here. That's not happening.
Oh, I don't think it's happening. I'm gonna pull out my pipe and just start playing a mournful dirge.
What are you doing?
A flock of hedge ravens begin to circle overhead.
What the fuck?
Distracted is Lisa by her trauma right now?
I don't think she's that distracted.
How distracted is Lisa by the fact that we are doing the same sort of music and rites that we've been doing in this area for a while?
I think Lisa is under the impression that you are directing these hedge crows to eat this body.
Okay, we'll keep that for now. Do I need to roll to lie to myself?
Roll manipulation and subterfuge.
I don't have to. I lie to myself all the time.
I spend my last willpower to convince myself that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I just want you to know that as a system, this is giving me endless amounts of joy.
Only one success.
To be fair, maybe I do roll to lie to myself and just
You just succeed highly well.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time.
Imposter syndrome has like 20 dice to roll. It's fine.
You're not wrong.
One success.
Make of that what you will.
All right. Well, I
Frank,
guess
what the fuck are you doing?
I'm going to see if I can get these hedge ravens to each take a bone.
The ravens circle around and begin to descend upon the fresh carrion.
Continue playing.
They
We would just
take
Frank, we
pieces.
would just getting on our good sides, And now, we're getting on the other side of this again.
Academically, I don't know if you are willing to try this or not, but Marlena, you do know that academically you have the same ability to open a door that Frank does. Whether you consider that an option.
Maybe. He's not doing it right now, and I need to. What is a system even for that?
You just spend a glamour.
You just spend the glamour? Okay. Yeah, I don't think he's going to quite yet. He's keeping that on standby.
Are the trees reacting like they typically do when the music plays?
Yes, they begin to sway in rhythm. The crows begin to feast upon carrion and take bones to carry with them as they leave. They're not leaving yet, as you continue to play.
Do any of them notice the bag that Marlena has?
At the moment, you have them directed towards
Towards the torso.
Frank, you gotta talk to me.
To be fair, it's kind of hard to talk while playing an instrument. That's supposed to.
That was going into my next sentence. So, put the flute down. Yes, I know it's not a flute. Put the thing down so we can talk.
Frank is playing. Hold on, I need to make a roll for Lisa. Wits empathy,
Yep.
typically, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
You have one die for that? Wow.
I have 2 wits and no empathy.
Cool.
Still just playing.
Suddenly, everything makes sense.
And I swore I was not. Well, I swear a lot, but I said I would not attack you. You're making it real hard for me to keep that. Just put the recorder down so we can have a conversation.
If I put the fife down, the birds will immediately.
They become no longer controlled by you. Whatever they do will be up to their natural nature.
Once the birds have gathered all the carrion and bones and scatter, Frank will lower the fife.
With their fill having been had and the bones that they have carried with them, they remain in the trees.
Excellent.
We got to work on. Sorry, go ahead.
But they don't begin attacking.
We've got to work on our communication. Because you did not say anything about summoning shit.
The torso won't be recovered.
Sorry?
The torso won't be recovered. There are powers that will keep the torso very safe.
Fair enough. Are we good?
Are we?
Bitch, I just asked you.
I hate to interrupt, but Frank, I think you're freaking out Marlena a little bit.
Little bit. Just a touch.
Calm down, Lisa. Everything is fine. I've got this under control. I don't think you do, actually. I'm a little concerned right now. We're going into our moody phase, and like, you remember the song we sang?
I'm taking
all the
two
wonderful
steps
joy
away.
and peace that we had, and like, I'm just detecting a little hostility right now, and I don't know how to feel about that. Lisa, calm down. It's always important to remain calm.
Take
Especially
another step
in the
away.
hedge.
The crows that have been silent up to this point. One calls. A few seconds pass. Another one calls.
No, Lisa, you've upset our friends. Don't worry. They'll be fine.
Another call.
Why are you talking in the airy, creepy kind of voice now?
The
Fine.
calls begin to come more frequently. And
I'm
in
gonna-
more than
I
more than
think
single
I'm a-
cats.
Open the portal up. No, it's fine.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going
to move to open up a door.
Spend a glamour.
Yep.
You touch the archway that you came in by.
I mean, yeah, probably.
The door opens. You see the park that you were just in.
All right.
It's
I'm
time to
going.
go.
I'm going to fight myself.
Oh, wonderful. Who's fighting whom?
Lisa is trying. Okay, Frank is going to try to close the portal,
To be
and
fair,
Lisa's going to try to
because you moved
stop.
into the middle of the clearing to start playing your
Yeah.
flute, you're a ways away from the portal. Like it's not super long, but it's like you would be running to the door that Jackson's already at.
Yeah.
Do we need to initiative this?
Well, let's see what Lisa's intention is right now.
Lisa's going to try to stop Frank. So what is that? Just brawl against each other?
I'm gonna need Frank to roll dexterity and athletics, and Lisa to roll strength and brawl.
Okay. Frank first.
This is full on some idle hands bullshit right here.
And now Lisa.
Holy shit!
Oh, no.
I don't know, but Frank's voice toward the end there was getting very Norman Bates.
So 1 versus 3, Lisa has the upper hand right now.
Four successes, sir.
1 versus 4, yes, almost a critical success.
So you'll see Frank lurch towards you, and the other half physically grab the hand and pull it back, and like collapse to the ground as one leg is trying to push towards and one hand is trying to claw back away.
Look, you got your own things to deal with. I'm gonna let you sort that. I'm out the door.
You rush your
I
way
do-
out the door.
Yep.
Do you close it behind you?
Fuck yes.
Okay. The door shuts, leaving Frank and Lisa in the clearing as the caws become more numerous until the entire murder is cawing in continuous noise. It's technically it is a murder of crows. They are crows.
Frank is going to grab the fife. And Lisa is freaked out, and the door is closed, and is not going to stop him.
You grab the 5.
And gonna start playing.
Your playing has no effect. As the crows begin to circle, and they dive down and begin to circle around a shadow at the edge of the clearing, as a figure begins to step inside. As an enormous 10 feet tall figure, clad all in black, this long, draping black cloak, a mantle of raven feathers, long black hair that drapes to about mid-chest, alabaster pale skin, and eyes as black as night, emerges as the ravens swirl around him. As one of the true Fae enters the clearing. What have we here? A pair of lost kittens, all alone in the winds of the woods of morning. Where have you been, little one? And the camera cuts away, as that is where we end for the session.
Nope.
Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Goodbye.